If your conscience is bothering you, you should soothe it with the knowledge that you may have just saved the entire Alpha Quadrant, and all it cost was the life of one Romulan senator, one criminal, and the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. I don't know about you, but I'd call that a bargain.
We just got into just turn off what might be my all-time favorite Star Trek episode. Maybe a hot take here. In the Pale Moonlight.
That's the one I watched. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yes, it's so fucking good. I'm sorry, it's so freaking good.
Yeah. Watch your fucking language. Holy shit!
Okay, all right. Well, fair enough. I didn't know what the policy was with the youngins. So.
I mean, come on now.
But yeah,
I'm 5 years old. You can be sitting there in front of me.
It is such a good episode. Such a good episode.
Yeah. So this is the episode where Sisko, like the Federation and Dominion, are at war at this point. It's open warfare. The Sisko is talking about how like every day, or I think it's every week, he gets the postings of
every Friday.
Essentially, the death list of all the people who've died, and someone on the station is going to know somebody who's close to him who's died. Just every Friday, and it's going to be sad, and he just can't put up with it. And he's decided he's not going to let the Romulans down the sidelines. He's going to figure out a way to get them involved in the war, because even logically he works it out where it's like, if the Dominion wins, the Romulans are going to get fucked in the end. So like their best move is to join the war, but of course they don't want to because they'd rather just sit it out. So he thinks, the Romulans have really bad fashion sense. So what we'll do is we'll get somebody who will make some really good clothes for them. So we'll hire Garak to get them in on the war.
A simple tailor. What we need is a simple tailor.
That's all we need.
It's just a little bit of a bribe, Join the war, and your pants could get hemmed for free.
Yeah,
right.
No, this is frankly a goddamn brilliant episode. I absolutely love it.
I also love the framing device of it, like Sisko kind of like telling the story to us the entire time. There's something about Star Trek has done that a couple times, and every time it really works.
His theater experience really shines through too. The Avery Brooks, like he's killing it. He's like recording it to because at the beginning he's like he wants to tell somebody about this because it's like weighing on him, but he can't tell anybody about it, right? So he's like just gonna say it to the log, and hopefully that'll get it out, and he'll be all right. But like, so good.
I think that's something also to be stressed, because like one thing I always thought was interesting about Avery Brooks, because I always feel like in a lot of ways Avery Brooks and William Shatner have similar styles in their performance, with the difference being that I always thought Avery Brooks sold it. William Shatner just came off as cheesy.
It's like theatrical. It's really over the top. Yeah, I've heard some people say they don't like Sisko because he's so over the top, but he always pulled it off to me, and I always believed it.
Yeah, he sold it to me.
It's like this level of unreality a little bit, whereas like Picard, you can picture Picard being a real guy. You know what I mean? But like, that makes sense.
Well, there's just something about like Avery Brooks is so earnest. Like, what's that line he has in the first episode that could be so cheesy? It's like, "I will not leave her behind," or something. Like he fucking.
There's a line by just the random Romulan senator in this episode where he just says it's like whenever he's looking at the data rod, right? The whole thing is about getting this Cardassian data rod that can't be, and he's like watching over the. Line? Where he says, "A fake." It's just the way he's fake. It's a fake. It's a fake.
He's just holding it up. He's holding up this little shitty prop they made in 5 minutes, and he's like, "It's a fake." Then it like cold deadpans on Sisko's face, like he just took a dump in his drawers. I loved it. So good.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one to notice that, because like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, that stuck out to me. It's like, whoa.
That actor just like he's like, "Oh, I'm with Avery Brooks in the scene. Okay, I've got to sell it. All right, let's go.
I gotta go over the top, man."
I guess a quick update. So obviously he's not going to get the Romulans in by hemming pants. Garak's gonna cop all his contacts and see what information he can find about the Dominion planning a Romulan attack. And with that happening, Garak reaches out, and all his contacts are killed within 24 hours. So he gets nothing. So he brings up to the Sisko, "Hey, why don't we just fake it?" And Sisko's like, "It's like it's a bad idea, but at the same time, he's kind of desperate." So he's like, "Okay, let's he kind of plays along with it, and then he just essentially gets deeper and deeper involved with it. And it's just, I will say, this episode is like this brilliant, like, kind of character study, not only between like Sisko and Garak, but also just the performances the two actors give. I just think are phenomenal in this. They are they are the anchor here. Yeah,
I like that. It's basically Spock's "the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few" just in an episode. That's exactly what it is. Is like it's that whole ideology principle spread out into an episode. If the Federation don't do something, they're probably going to lose. And so, we need. I'm tired of seeing all these people die. We need to do something. And I always thought it's interesting. It's like, did he do the right thing? I mean, I think he did, but I don't know. I guess that's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, throughout his time on the series, we see that Garak is definitely the type of character who is like, he just is looking at the ends. The means don't matter. Just, what's the end result? We need the best end result. Whatever it takes to get there, he kind of doesn't care. And this episode is kind of where Sisko is kind of like, he plays along with it, and eventually he plays along. He gets the fake information about the Dominion plot on Romulus to the Romulan senator, who finds out it's a fake, and there you get the classic meme line, "It's a fake." And I can't give it justice. I could probably come clip that, but
Garak is totally Garak is like 3 steps ahead of him, and he's got his own thing going on.
And
I'm pretty sure that doesn't a Sisko do kind of maybe a little bit worse stuff later on in the series? Does he make a couple of
his whole thing against the Maquis pretty effing bad. I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty shitty what he does.
Well, that was a bit earlier, I think, but yeah.
I think what he does against the Maquis might actually be worse than this. But I mean, because even Worf, who is Mr. Fire Phasers and everything, was like, "Whoa, do we want to do this?" I mean, it's not the first questionable thing Sisko's done.
True. Mm-hmm. He's the one that he's the captain that's I guess Janeway too would be one of them that's kind of like just ethics. We can have a little fun with the gray areas of ethics, right?
Look, every Starfleet captain is a war criminal. It just comes with the territory.
Well, I will say that I think the big difference between Sisko and Janeway is that I never felt like Sisko. I always felt like it kind of weighed on him doing this stuff. Like,
Janeway doesn't give a shit.
It's like, I don't give a shit. Fuck it.
It's war.
Kill that guy. I don't care. Kill that guy.
I'll forget about it before. I'll forget about it before I'm done with my next cup of coffee.
Yeah, I was about ready to say, I'll get coffee. I'll be good.
Well, that's probably another benefit of having serialized storytelling too, is having those connections go from episode to episode. Whereas Voyager, it was just, okay, we finished it. Okay, next one. And it's like, I never felt like you said, any of that weight on her. It was just like, all right, well, okay, now I'm new Janeway on New Voyager. And I don't know. Never really sat well with me.
Yeah, Voyager. Yep. It's weird. Like I said, I like Voyager, but at the same time,
me too.
It never came close to its full potential.
Agreed.
You know what the first episode of Voyager I ever saw was? The one where Paris and Janeway become lizards.
Oh, no.
And I loved it. As a kid, I loved it. I was so down for that weirdness. But as an adult, I'm like, I don't know if that's how science
we were just talking about it yesterday, and like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What
like, are they ever going to visit their kids again?
No.
Oh man, imagine if the Doctor did to the little baby lizards what they did to like Janeway and Paris to like turn them from lizards back into humans. Would they actually become babies? Oh no, don't think about it. Don't think about it. It's like...
Yeah, that's interesting.
See, like one of these new Trek shows needs to have just like a surprise villain that's you find out it's actually Janeway and Paris's lizard babies. They're all grown up and they want revenge.
That would be cool.
Do it or you're cowards. Do it or you're cowards, Star Trek.
That's what the new Gorns are, I guess.
I have a feeling Lower Decks will do that. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna make that
Lower
joke.
Decks would in a heartbeat. That's true. Yeah. Lower Decks would embrace that. But yeah, I guess like so the whole episode, like they fake the information. The Romulan senator figures out that it's fake. So he flies off pissed, and then a few days later, Sisko finds out the Romulan ship blew up. Just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. It blew up. Whoopsie.
Well, the ship's pants weren't hemmed while it was it docked. So,
yeah,
you know,
they got hemmed. They got hemmed all right.
They got hemmed all right. Got it.
It's pretty severe.
He has his responsibilities, okay, and you cannot fault him. Sometimes a couple people get snagged when you're having pants. It comes with the job. It's part of the territory.
His shuttle got taken in a little bit, you might say.
Too soon.
But
25 years too soon.
Bob, it's been a while since I watched through Deep Space Nine, but it feels like watching this that Garak kind of gives away more than he really ever does anywhere else in the series. Like as far as like just admits some stuff. Is that or am I wrong on that?
like he just. What do you mean in this episode, or
like he just flat out he doesn't deny anything really. As far as like whenever Sisko comes to him and he's like, basically, did you blow up this ship? And he's like, yeah, I fucking blew it up. He does not exactly, but he's.
That's true. I mean, that is kind of interesting. Well, I don't know if there was much of a way out because Sisko knew at that point. Sisko knew Garak blew it up. Like this was literally like all of his plan. Like that's the thing. Garak came to him. He said, "Hey, here's my plan. We should fake it. There's a Romulan senator coming by. We can kind of, if Sisko says, come on over, we can, arrange a private meeting. We'll fake some information. We'll put it on this data rod that's tough to duplicate, and we'll give it to him. He'll believe it and enter the war." And it's clear that Garak planned this all out. He knew exactly what was going to happen because once that Romulan ship blew up, he even explains, Sisko's like, they'll examine the data rod and find out it's a fake. And Garak's like, no.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is they're going to notice the discrepancies and be like, no, it was in a shuttle that blew up. That's why there's discrepancies. And it's like...
That's a great performance by Andrew Robinson when he's saying that line, by the way.
Do you think, maybe the episode implies it more than I think, but do you think Sisko was mad that he was used or that, in quotations, innocent people died? And that kind of interesting. Like I had to think about that. I'm like, was he? Because he goes and just gives him a good old haymaker in the shop, and he sends his ass flying. And I'm like, was he mad because he got used that he didn't tell him, or was he mad because, in quotations, innocent people died?
It's a good question.
That's the thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, so the innocent people that died here were a criminal who attempts to murder Quark.
Yeah,
and a Romulan senator. So I guess the most innocent people would be anybody who's working for the Romulan senator on this ship. Because Romulan senator is probably pretty sketchy, right?
Yeah. No offense, Romulans. We don't mean to offend you guys, but if you guys are listening,
I do.
I think that on all accounts, on all counts to everyone.
I think they kind of take pride in being a little shady. The Romulans,
100%,
absolutely. They love it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, I think this is there's some great other episodes. Like we've covered some great ones on here. There's some great ones in TNG. Voyager had some great ones. I'm sure New Trek has some great ones too. I guess I haven't really ranked up New Trek to Old Trek because when I think of great episodes, I think of stuff like this. I think of stuff like Inner Light.
Entirety of season 4 of Discovery.
Yeah, no, Discovery's gotten really good too.
Has it?
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of Discovery yet. I heard the first 2 seasons are rough. Is it worth kind of getting through it? Like
season
the
2
first
is not that rough,
season's-
in my opinion.
No, it's not. The first
season's
season
rough,
very
though.
very rough. Season 2,
Let's
it's
start
getting
there.
its bearings. Season 3, it's kind of it kind of hits reset a bit, and then season 4 is is my favorite overall season of Star Trek. Period.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've only seen the first season, and I just thought it was okay, and I never followed up with it from there. There were some cool ideas, and I was just like, and I just never followed up. I like Strange New Worlds, and I like Lower Decks, and R.I.P. Prodigy.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how it would work, but I feel like Discovery might work better if you start with season 2 and then just use it as like an introductory season, because I feel like season 3 and on is where the series actually.
So it's Star Trek then. Just skip the first season.
Yeah,
right. That's what I've always said to people. Like, whenever they're like, "Oh, Discovery's terrible, they should cancel it." I'm like, "Hold on, are you new to Star Trek?" Because literally, I don't think that any, the most infamous or the generally the most beloved one, The Next Generation, the first 2 seasons are garbage.
Yeah, you're talking in like 50 episodes, like 3 are worth watching. Yeah. It's really rough.
Yeah.
And isn't like episode 4 of TNG the one where the Code of Honor or whatever, where they basically visit the planet that's basically Africa? It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's got some mild racism in it.
Mild.
It's mild. Yeah, that's like Cajun mild, very hot. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah. That like shit that would not be made today, rightly so.
Yeah. No. Let's make it clear. Star Trek typically met well, but like there's a couple of episodes where it's like, oh,
yeah, and it's just a segment of time. I'm sure
it's the 90s.
Yeah, it's the 90s. But yeah, the first seasons of Star Trek usually, and I think that's why like Strange New Worlds wasn't great, but it was definitely a lot better than first seasons usually are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a couple of really dumb.
I think. Yeah.
One really dumb episode of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, Strange New Worlds. I think I overall like season 1. There's one episode I that sticks out as kind of really nowhere, and then overall I liked it though. I don't know.
Is it the one where they're like in the fantasy kind of thing?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What a. I mean, I guess every Star Trek show has to do just like it's almost like they have to do a dumb one. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
They always have to do a holodeck episode.
Yeah.
You have to.
I've been season 2's okay. I don't like it as much as the first season. I've seen I've seen the first 6, thankfully, and appreciatively, but yeah, it's definitely not as good as the first season, in my opinion.
Sucks to hear. But.
Speaking of very intelligent episodes of Star Trek, are you guys fans of Profit and Lace?
Oh no.
Yeah, we talked about that one yesterday. the brilliant one? The Profit and Lace.
Is that the
right?
Totally.
Wait, is that Garak or is that one of the Ferengi episodes?
Where Court becomes a female.
Oh no! Oh, I don't remember that one.
So good.
No, you want to know the crazy thing? That happens like a couple episodes after in the Pale Moonlight. It's like here's a brilliant episode, and here's an episode that's like the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Oh jeez.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.